Sat Nam, beautiful souls. My spiritual name is Jai Jai, and this channel is a space to help you channel your highest self. One of the ways that we channel our highest self is through the breath. The breath work that we do in many practices, but I'm speaking in the yogic practice, specifically Kundalini yoga. But the breath work is really it's our connection to life, because breath is life. Breath is also our connection to spirit, because breath is spirit, right? It's that infinite source that's always there. We don't need to think about it. It's just there. But when we begin to tune into the breath and the multitude of ways that we can work the breath into this body vehicle, we begin to realize that we can literally begin to shift and change our relationship in being in this body vehicle. When we breathe, what's coming into the body, as we know, is oxygen, right? We take in oxygen, we take in nutrients, and that begins to come in. This is on the very physical level, right? Our cells take in the oxygen, and this is what gives us life. But there's something more coming in on the breath than just oxygen. There's other compounds, but one that I want to recognize is prana. Now, there's many ways we take in prana into the body, through our food, through light, but one of the most effective and efficient and potent ways that we take prana into the body is through breathing, through conscious breathing. Even if we're not consciously breathing, we're still taking in prana. But the more conscious that we breathe, the more available that pranic healing force is available to us. And essentially, prana is healing. I mean, prana is the life force itself. And we want to, have that relationship with life force. We want to empower life force, because as we power up with life force, we realize that, we have the power all along. Nothing outside of me has the power. It's all within me. And we can begin to really tap into what that means when we tap into the breath. Most of us, just on our day-to-day workings through life, we're doing very shallow breathing. Often we even begin to hold the breath, right? When things get tense, when we're in fear, when we're not comfortable, you'll notice that the breath gets really shallow, and to the point that sometimes we even often begin to hold the breath. And that's essentially choking life out of the body. So we want to train ourselves, relearn to do the opposite, to do the very things that we came into this earthly realm doing, is deep breathing. Babies really know how to breathe through their belly. Over time, as we sort of numb life out, we begin to shallow the breath and really breathe from this upper space. But we really want to begin to bring breath deeply into the body. We want to, work with the breath. We want to, use the breath to help balance us. One of the most important and beneficial reasons for us to be aware of breath work and to make just simple breath work a part of our daily practice, just conscious breathing a part of our daily practice, is when our inner organs aren't getting enough oxygen, what begins to happen is we begin to feel separated. We begin to feel separated from life. We begin to feel separated from one another. Because as I said earlier, breath is spirit. So as we begin fueling, everything we are, the whole components of this body, the inner organs at the most cellular level with oxygen and prana and life, we begin to feel, not only do we begin to feel more connected to all that is around us, but we begin to feel more abundant, because, energy is, it's an abundant source. It's never ending. It's infinite. And when we can fuel up on something that is infinite, that is in, abundance, it's never ending, something that our limited mind has a hard time wrapping it around, because our mind is limited and we're trying to tap into the unlimited. So as we begin to tap into the unlimitedness, if that's a word, we no longer can align with lack. I mean, truly, when you are in an abundant space, when you're fueled with the breath of life, it's really hard to be in a space of lack. So breath work in and of itself, as healing as it is, it's also a magic tool to help you be in an abundance place, in a balanced place, in a healing space, all of it. As I've said, there are many ways to tap into the breath. There are, we can do long, deep breathing. We can do alternate nostril breathing. We can do segmented breathing. In Kundalini, we do something called the breath of fire, which we're going to do together here in just a moment. So, there's different ways that we can think of driving this body vehicle with the breath. We can think of the breath as the gas pedal in this body vehicle. So, it's like, what level do we want to be, driving through our life? Sometimes we want to take a slow stroll, long deep breathing, alternate nostril breathing. Sometimes we want to pick up the pace, get things done. So there's kind of like a breath work for any speed that we want to be, working this body vehicle. Let's do a breath work now called the breath of fire. It's a cornerstone breath in Kundalini. It's used really throughout the practice. Many movements work with the breath of fire. The breath of fire is a rhythmic breath. It's even on the inhale and exhale, and it's light like sniffing. It looks like that's the breath of fire. Sometimes people find it a little cumbersome to do the breath of fire or to sustain the breath of fire. Again, your body's always talking to you. So if that's the case, what your body's basically saying is you need to do more of it, right? There's some blockages in the body. And there's ways that we keep working with the breath of fire to begin to open up those blockages. Often when the breath of fire is difficult, it's because the solar plexus is on lockdown, and the breath of fire in and of itself can begin to alleviate and open the tensions that are being held in the solar plex, so energy can freely flow through the body. So if breath of fire feels a little cumbersome for you, just try it with your mouth open, have your tongue hanging out like you're panting like a fierce lion or puppy dog, whichever you want to identify with. So that's another way to enter into the breath of fire. And then as you feel comfortable with the breath and you're comfortable with the rhythm and it's feeling good, you can just close the mouth and transfer the breath work to the nose. So let's give it a roll. Let's do a little bit of breath of fire and see how it feels in the body. So you can sit in easy pose. I like to sit in easy pose. You can sit in a chair. You can, stand. It's just, wherever you are. This is just a breath work that you can do for a couple minutes and just begin to make some shifts in your physical world just by changing what's happening in the inner world. So I like to take my hands, bring them into heart center, have my thumbs nestled into the sternum. There's a pressure point here that activates peace and calm and balance in the body. You can close your eyes, gaze through the third eye point, and just begin the breath of fire. Just find the rhythm, find a rhythm that works for you. Maybe yours is a little slower than mine. Maybe it's a little faster. Maybe it's not as deep, but just find your rhythm. There's a power in bringing rhythm into the body. Keep going. When the body is in rhythm, then the body knows ease. When the body's out of rhythm, then it falls into dis-ease. And just beginning to work with this rhythm in the body, all the biorhythms in the body begin to sync up. The circulatory system, the respiratory system, the lymphatic system, and so on. The nervous system, right? And so on. All of these systems begin to sync up in rhythm for optimal health. Keep going. This breath work also oxygenates the blood, oxygenates the brain, strengthens the lungs, purifies the lungs, boosts immunity. There's lots of benefits to doing this breath work. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, float the hands down. Have your underside of the tongue touching the top palate of the mouth, and just meditate here a moment. Just feel the breath coming in naturally. Feel perhaps a shift in frequency, what it is to bring life into the body. Elevate the energy in the body. Just be available for the sensations. Be open, be receptive. And as you feel ready, open your eyes. And so there you have it. And maybe a minute-ish, however long we did it, I didn't time it. Just a little bit of conscious breathing can really take us far. And you can do this breath work throughout your day, especially if well, here's the thing about the breath of fire, especially if you need more energy, the breath of fire will lift you up and give you the energy you need. If you're lying in bed and you need to, get up and, get into the day, or, finish the rest of your day, or wherever you are, do some breath of fire. It will lift you and get you, into the next moment. However, this is an adaptogenic breath. So there are times where, we feel very antsy, we feel overstimulated, and the breath of fire will actually bring you, back down. It will balance you if you're overstimulated. So know that the breath of fire is really about bringing the body vehicle into balance and giving it what it needs in any given moment. I hope to see you in a class where we do lots of breath of fire, among other breathing techniques. You can find more of me at jaiyogacenter.com, where I have all my information about online classes that I offer. I also have a membership community happening where you can really tap into me live, we have monthly meetings to help guide us on our soul path. So I look forward to meeting you again via the internet space, or, in person, however it is we meet. Sending love, sending light, Satnam.